Welcome to our brand new team here for the Red Velvet Dragon. I'm excited to go over today. It is a absolute burst damage team here, raw power with an update from the Royal Margarine cookie here. Excited to break it down for you here today. Additionally, we'll give you two other teams that you can consider throughout your gameplay for your guild battles here, because it is always important to have the right team for your team as always. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate your support. Down below, you'll find the timestamps where I'll break down each of those teams. We'll do a run so you can see that as well, and then pull it all back together as we always do. So if you happen to have a question or comment throughout today's episode, you let me know. I love to hear from you, and feel free to swing by the Discord server. All right, let's get moving, because I'm sure you're certainly excited to see this new team that we have going on for us here today. So here is the new team. Essentially, you're removing Space Donut here and popping in Royal Margarine. Additionally, here we have no healers. That is correct. This guy will heal, obviously, the Milky Way cookie. Whoops, there we go. Let's put him back in. Yep, we're back. There we go, Milky Way. So Milky Way does have a little bit of a heal, and that's going to be what's going to keep your team alive. But the reality is it's not enough, then you will lose a lot. So right there, HP Shield Allies blocks 15% of max HP for 3 seconds and 15% of healing. So just want to make sure that you see that as well. Lots of different pieces here in that damage reduction, all that fun stuff, which is huge for us in this particular team. Now, that is a couple of the key points. We are moving in Royal Margarine here. This guy gives you a ton new things. Obviously, we've covered this in our topping guide as well, but as you can see here, more poison damage, attacks being reduced, other stacks going on, amplified debuffs, Wyvern Swoop, all that stuff going on there as well, Wyvern Swoop. In terms of helping out this team, we got poison happening as well, and then Sherbet for the single targeter in those pieces. So that is the cookie team here. Eclair with that debuff as well for defense is always huge as well. I remember the good old days of running the debuff or defense debuff here in our treasures, which is not happening anymore, but certainly you could do that as an item. Now let's use that as an example and a segue into our treasures. So here's what we do have going on in our treasures. We are running the Seamstress Pincushion. That's essentially going to allow Prune Juice's summoned creature to live longer and faster, those kinds of things. And then additionally here, attack. And then here with our Squishy Jelly Watch, obviously you can swap them out if you need to with the whistle as an example. Additionally here, this one, Sleepyhead's Jelly Watch, use it if it's much more powerful for you. In terms of that being a level 12 as an example, would be a good idea. And then additionally here, some other ideas are swapping in the Disciples Magic Scroll. Increasing your defense might help, particularly since these things are squishy. Those are and could be good considerations there. As you can see, ours is at 32%, defense by 30. In this case, it might be a better swap. Instead of going that pure damage, we'll keep it for now, just so you can see it in this particular run. We'll go back and have at it from that perspective. So those are the cookies, the team, and the treasures. Let's go ahead and break down the toppings. I prefer, again, in this case, your 5 chocolate chip set here to reduce the cooldown, so we can try and get those heals going. We can try and get those defense shields, those kinds of things. Certainly you can go to attack if this one has a lot more survivability for you, or you have good cooldown there. Additionally, here on our Royal Margarine, we're going with 5 set of attack. You could go with, again, if you're not fully focused on just pure raw damage power, you could go with Solid Almond for survival. You could also go with the 5 chocolate chip there. Here in this case with Sherbet, we are on Solid Almond. I'll switch over to this for attack because we know that he's going to die real fast. Anyway, and then here again with our friend Prune Juice, we're on our chip cooldown effect. And then here on our Eclair, we're going with survivability. Again, you can also go with the chocolate chip set here as an example. So quick pass-throughs on those, some different ideas. Again, use what's going to work best with your cookies. Obviously, we'll do that pre-select. We did that, and we'll go there. We'll keep all those. Mine are still fairly underpowered in terms of promotions there, so they will get clipped pretty fast. But obviously at a higher level, higher power with your team, you're going to have a much longer survivability, and you're going to do a lot more damage. This particular team for me puts out around 50 million. has a much higher value in order. Again, depending on what level you're at, we'll go to 12 here and run our practice with this particular team. I will leave it on auto so you can see, but the big piece here really being right away at the beginning, you're going to want to get all this stuff off at once, making sure that you can click, 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 click. And then as they keep coming, you can see my team got absolutely nuked there right away. You want to make sure that you just keep clicking on all these things and making sure that you keep the shields on, all those fun things for surviving, and keep going at it. So now we got 2 of those up for a second. Prune juice. There we go. And we may live all the way through. There you go. Now, if we hit that right away at the beginning, that 15% should give a little bit more survivability. So 57, we'll do it one more time. And run through it there. Practice again. Let's go for it. And then that shield will hit, and then you'll be in a good spot. Potentially, we'll see if we get it off. Here we go, right at boss. Everything off. There's the shield. Nope, still didn't survive. The clear might. We'll see if we can get another one off. Nope. Too squishy, that is for sure. But again, this team puts out a massive amount of damage. It's always fun to see these kinds of guides and changes here with the guild battles with new cookies like this in tow. And again, similar style. There we go. 14 seconds. Do we live? Oh, done. Done, done, done. 70 million? 60 million. So not bad. Not bad in terms of this particular team. Again, obviously increasing all this stuff is only going to make it survive better, put out more damage, and gives you an idea of some of the things that you can focus on with your particular Red Velvet Dragon team. Now, let's go ahead and talk about 2 other teams here quickly for you. So the one before this was this team right here. This is where you do have your, oh, not this one. Right here, this is where you do have your healer base. You have Space Donut in here. You also have Stardust. Again, this was the kind of original prune juice, so giving you a different idea and flavor if you don't have those particular cookies. Again, same thing with the treasures here. Big one being you're going to want the whistle in. Here you can switch this one again for this one in terms of cooldown. That's going to be much better for you. And then also here, if you want a Disciples Magic Scroll as an example, this will be the team that you're going to want to run on. We'll go ahead and run with it here as well. But before we do so, let's go ahead and look at the toppings. Again, being on the right, increased toppings here for whichever particular cookie that you're running always helps. But again, we're on 5 solid almonds here. You could be on this cooldown. We can switch over here. Here again, similar with Milky Way. Similar with prune juice. Here, damage for Stardust, and then heals Choco Chip again for our pure vanilla. So this is a good backup team for you. Let's go ahead and run it on 12. So this was the team before that you could absolutely use in order to crush the dragon, but the other one does much higher damage without a healer, and again, more pure damage focused in those things. And depending on the timing here, just the way my auto is set up, Stardust Cookie's able to evade a lot of the big key pieces there and survive just due to the cooldown. Generally, you're going to want to click them before he gets to the steps there and reset those kinds of things. All right, we lost Prune Juice. And that is it. Big donuts. So as you can see, almost double the score in terms of the total damage with the team. Again, being a highly concentrated damage, pure damage, raw damage piece there. Now, the last team that I did want to share with you here is a blend. Where are you? Right here, a blend of the two. So in this particular case, let's go ahead and check it out. Again, we're still on the we're keeping PV here for healing. We also have Stardust Cookie in here as well. And then additionally, we put in Royal Margarine and Prune Juice, and then Moonlight Cookie here, or Milky Way Cookie at the front end. Again, all the same concepts. Here again on the whistle attack and the watch, and we talked about again the similar ones that you could swap out depending on the skill levels and those things that will make a big difference for you. Now also the toppings remain the same for each of these ones in particular that we just talked about, so that you can see those quickly as well. So we did a little bit of a blend of the two. So here we have no healers, raw damage. Here was the older one. Here was the older one. Again, swapping out essentially Space Donuts, and you pull out PV, your healer, and then also there as well you're dropping Stardust for Sherbet, again being on the pure damage, a little bit different on the treasures. So here we go with our blended team here, this time for the third team that you could consider for this particular dragon. So the first one was around 60 million, the second run was around 30 million. Let's go ahead and do our third and final run here for our dragon guide. All right, again on auto, similar things should be okay on the survivability here. We'll find out shortly. And still continue to take advantage of everything that we have in this team. We lost Prune Juice again. All things that can be recovered by more promotions and all that fun stuff that we just talked about. Damage, damage, damage. All right, there we go. Boom, 48. So a little bit in the middle, but on the higher end of the middle, if we were able to keep Prune Juice alive, this one probably could have done more damage than the other one, potentially. You never know. But that's how you kind of go through and test as well for yourself. So good concepts there. Again, around your team, your ideas that are going to be best for you to maximize this. Giving you 3 key teams here. Ultimately to help you with your guild and your progression in the Red Velvet Dragon. So let's go ahead and pull this all back together. Today, we covered the raw damage, pure power play here with our new dragon team for the Red Velvet Dragon. We broke down all the key pieces of this particular team. We gave you one of the older teams, the last team, that was a big one in terms of progression for your guild battles as well. And then a third and final team that was a little bit of a mix of the two, giving you a little bit of a different option and flavor there for your guild battles. Certainly there's other dragon teams that you can use that are still viable. You can check those out here on the channel as well. Questions or comments, do let me know. I'd love to hear from you always. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the likes and your support as always. Appreciate the subs as we continue to grow this amazing community. I hope you enjoyed our Red Velvet Dragon guide here today with the raw power, pure damage, certainly on the high end of the dragon runs here as always. And questions or comments, do let me know and feel free to swing by the Discord server. Other great ways to stay connected and in touch. And until next time, there's a ton of great CookieRun Kingdom content available to you here on the channel, and we got a ton more headed your way. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again soon. Mythras out of here. Enjoy.